Love me a little Ella Fitzgerald. Speaking of swing, makes me think a little bit about golf. You probably, if you think about the game or the sport, you'll bring up the PGA Men's Tour, and you would be right. Yet, thanks to the pandemic, Tim, more women are engaging in golf.
Okay, check this out. The National Golf Foundation reported last year that one of the most notable aspects of the pandemic-driven rise in participation over the past 3 years has been the influx of women and girls. The organization noted that there are about 6.4 million female golfers, up from 5.6 million in 2019, with the female golfer pool jumping 15%, Carol, compared to a 2% lift among male golfers.
I have some nieces and a sister-in-law that you can add to that list there. This brings us to the Women's U.S. Open, currently underway at the Lancaster Country Club in Pennsylvania, round 2 today. We welcome back Jill Spiegel. She's president of the PGA Tour Superstore. She joins us in Atlanta. Jill, great to have you here with us on this Friday. I grew up watching a lot of golf. My dad, my 4 brothers, they were all in. I never learned to play, which really upsets me.
It's not, you could learn to play.
Carol.
I know. And I do think about it.
You just need like 4 hours on a Friday. Get out there on the links.
Right after I finish this 3-hour show. You got it. Hey, Jill, what are you seeing when it comes to women engaging as a player, as a fan, and individuals who are interested in golf-related merchandising?
Yeah, well, you guys quoted a couple of the stats in your opening, and it's really fun to watch. 26% of all golfers are women, and 60%, a lot of new people came into the game, and 60% of new golfers that came into the game over the last few years have been women. So we anticipate that 26% climbing over 30 here in the near future. And what's really exciting as well is, over 40% of 18 and under golfers are girls, which is great. So that trend is going to continue. And it's really exciting to see, not only in women's golf, but in women's sports in general. If you look back just a couple of months ago with the craziness around Caitlin Clark and how that's translated into the WNBA, it's really exciting. And the women's purse this weekend at the U.S. Open is it's $12 million, wow. Almost double what it was just 3 years ago. Viewership is much, much higher on the LPGA, and the media consumption is 12 million viewers a week versus just 4 million a few years ago. So it's really fun to watch. We are very supportive of the female customer in our stores. In several of our locations, we lead with women's apparel. In our resort locations, we actually sell more women's apparel than men's apparel. So it's always been an important business for us, but we're continuing to really focus on it and continue to grow it. And, if it's 26% of the business, we want it to be 40% of ownership.
I want to take a step back. Why do you think more women, more girls in particular, are engaged? What is it particularly? Is there a player? Is it what's going on?
Well, you do have that. I mean, you have Nelly Corda, which has been amazing to watch this year. I know she's having a tough weekend, but she's won 6 of her last 7 tournaments. And I think COVID was really good to the golf industry in general. And I think it attracted more women at the time. People, adults were working from home, had more flexibility, and were getting out on the course. And you're seeing the demographics changing a lot, which is nice. It used to be middle-aged white men, and you're seeing, not only are you seeing more women, but you're seeing more people of color and a lot more youth. So I think it feels more accessible, more fun. It's I think golf can be very intimidating if you're new to it, and I think some of those barriers are getting broken down, and I think it's a little more casual than it was.
I'm wondering about how much that growth from the COVID era has continued. I'm a cyclist, and I think the cycling industry got a huge boom during COVID, but it is just getting crushed right now because how many bikes do people really need? I won't answer that question because I need a lot.
How many, Tim, do
always
we need?
One more is the answer to that question.
How many bikes do you have?
Too many bikes. What I will say, though, is some sports are not seeing that bump continue. What can you tell us about golf?
Well, it's a really good question. And, you quoted some stats from the NGF, and we look at it closely too. And 2023, 2020 and 2021 were record years. And the last 4 years, rounds of golf have been at an all-time high, with 23 at a peak. Over 530 million rounds of golf were played. And participation was almost 27 million. And in 2024, rounds of golf are up over 2023. So we were all holding our breath. Our business doubled during COVID, which is tremendous. And we were thinking, when is the air going to come out of this balloon? And it really hasn't happened. The industry has never been healthier. And what's exciting to see too is not only are people playing golf on the golf course, more people are actually playing off-course golf. And when I talk about off-course, what I mean is simulator golf. They're either going into a 5-iron or a Top Golf. And 10% of those people are converting to green grass golf. So it's the growth continues. And you're right, there's a lot of sports that saw a huge spike during COVID and they're regressing down in golf. Recreational golf has never been healthier. 1 in 9 people are playing golf. And the beauty of it is all ages can play, all abilities can play, and you can play together regardless of your skill level.
So if you
That's how the game is set up.
Is there any correlation if you play a lot of miniature golf that you actually
the putting, the short game?
Golf?
Are you kidding? The short game, of course.
I'm just
wondering. Your putting will be very good. And, but it's, people who used to go to Top Golf, and Top Golf has been very good for our sport.
Yeah.
They'd go to Top Golf and it was food and beverage and entertainment, and then they'd go home. But now it's, people are sparking an interest. And we're seeing in our business, the technology business is really, really healthy, and the simulator business is healthy. And, there's a launch of an interactive league starting this January with professional golfers called TGL. And you're going to see that 24 of the top players on tour playing simulator golf down in Florida on Monday night.
That's really cool.
There's this whole resurgence of different ways you can take in the sport. And simulator golf doesn't take 4 hours. And, you can play it in a couple hours or an hour even. So it's opening it up and making it more welcoming, without the time commitment.
What's just 30 seconds? What's the line you can draw from the popularity of Top Golf to people actually going out and playing golf more?
The line? Well, I think people are more comfortable. They get a taste of it. They know that it's fun. And they're like, I'm going to give it a try. So it's, like I said, we never saw that conversion before. And for 10% of, fun golfers going out and actually taking up the sport, that's going to be a lot more people coming into the game and growing the game.
Really interesting. Well, listen, good luck with the tournament and everything this weekend. Really great to get some time. Have a great weekend. Jill Spiegel, she's president of the PGA Tour Superstore, joining us from Atlanta. $12 million purse.
Let's go play some golf.
I know. It's the one thing I regret not having learned with my dad. I know it's never
go
too
learn
late.
Now.
But my understanding is he was a great teacher, so I can't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. You're watching Bloomberg.